Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Karen's Chronicles. I hope that you're having a wonderful evening and you've had a wonderful weekend. By the time that you see this video, it will technically be midnight and it'll be the first day of March. But tonight I am recording late because I've had a very full day, a very wonderful day. And I want to talk about celebrating ourselves and why it's important to celebrate the little things, the small things, and really the everythings. I think that we can easily attribute what is little, and we don't have the right calipers or the right measuring tools to decide what is appropriate to celebrate. I really do believe that we're not equipped to do that, which is why we need to learn to celebrate ourselves so much more. The reason that I came up with this topic or was thinking about it is that I spent the evening celebrating my pastor's anniversary of 25 years as our pastor. And it was a beautiful evening of love and well wishes and gifts and thank yous, acknowledging the tremendous impact that he's had on all of our lives spiritually in the span of time. And because we celebrated a man whom I respect and love, as well as his wife, and because we are to acknowledge and give thanks for everything that God has allowed us to have and participate in, I just felt that it was appropriate to talk about what it really means to celebrate because I don't think that we do it well. And I believe that this video will hopefully help you to celebrate yourself in a way that will eventually make it easier for you to celebrate others and to do it instinctively, easily, without hesitation, without the weight of comparison, without worrying about whether they deserve it or not, without adding anything into it, but just to simply acknowledge that they are doing something great because they are existing in the space that we are all in. I mean, at the root of it, we're all existing as a human race, and there's so much to celebrate without having to really do anything. So let's start to unpack it. I do want to let you all know that my voice is getting better. I have been taking Sudafed, thank you, Sis Joy, and that has helped. Tea Honey, thank you, Lady Bev, and it has allowed me to sound and feel so much better. I am actually right now taking some emergency because my throat and my immune system need some help. So I'm going to do that real quick. So just give me a second. I appreciate you. I also want to show you my mug. If it's reversed, it says best bonus mom ever. So thank you, bonus kiddos, for this. I cherish it and I drink out of it very often. Okay, so let's get started. Celebrating ourselves is important because it it's not about being selfish. It is really at its core gratitude um, for acknowledging what God is doing in our lives and in the most simplest of ways. Thank you for waking me up this morning. So I'm celebrating life. Thank you for allowing me to have the mobility of my limbs. I'm grateful and have gratitude because there's someone who doesn't have that mobility that used to, right? And so it's celebrating movement, celebrating breath, celebrating just existing, even when times are hard. And if we can learn to celebrate things at its most simplest form, in its most elemental form, then it will quickly allow us to right size what is happening if something is happening that is not so great. Leaning towards gratitude for me has always been my pullback to keeping the main thing the main thing. And when I say celebrate, celebrating just being joyous and happy, acknowledging that you, yourself, you, I'm talking to you, my friend out there, are worthy of celebrating. Not just because you're breathing and not just because you're moving, because all those to me are credible, but let's just say you are having a rough day and you literally had to pull through mud, it feels like, trudge through mud just to get the kids out, just to get your clothes on, just to figure out what to wear, just to get in the car, to walk in the building. We don't necessarily attribute that to something to celebrate until it's hard to do. So start celebrating yourself for just showing up. And when I say just, let me take that word out there, for showing up, period. For showing up for your family, showing up for your friends. Celebrate your capacity and capability to acknowledge that, even if you're the only one that acknowledges that it's hard to do, and yet you're doing it. You're doing it real time. I think that that's very important. And let me give you some examples in addition to the ones that I gave you, because there's two, or maybe I'm going to talk about two paths of celebrating. They're celebrating just because, and then they're celebrating to bring you back from maybe a stressful or a negative experience. So bring you back to positivity. So if you are a person that believes that just because you were able to turn the car on and drive it down the street, that that's not worthy of celebrating, there's someone else who is struggling with that, right? And so they are going to celebrate the next opportunity that they have to do that. If you are in a job that you hate, or if going to work every day is a chore and it's really weighing on you, you can celebrate the fact that, hey, I'm doing it and it's tough. I may not be doing it perfectly, but I'm going to pat myself on the back because I'm the only one that really knows how much I'm struggling here. We're going to have to learn how to talk to ourselves and acknowledge the win. Take the win, even if nobody sees it. And that is also in point one. It's not selfish, it is from your perspective. And you should celebrate. And by celebrating, let's talk about how we can celebrate. Everything that I've mentioned before just now is acknowledging it. It's saying the words. It's, I did this. Yay for me. It's hard. Yay for me. We can also celebrate by saying, hey, I deserve some me time. I'm going to celebrate, by having my favorite dessert, or I'm going to pick a date on the calendar. I have, not done it perfectly, but I've exercised 3 days this week. And so at the end of the month, maybe one time, I'm going to celebrate with a movie. I'm going to binge watch a movie. I'm trying to stay away from celebrating with food because in that example is probably not the best one. But I'm going to celebrate by maybe inviting my friend or my spouse out to say, hey, don't know if you realize it, but it's been a month. We haven't had an argument, a real argument, in 3 months or 3 weeks. And I think that that's worth celebrating, and we can do that together. You see how easy it is to think about the positive things in your life, even the things that we don't think are big. I'm trying so hard not to quantify how we celebrate and what we celebrate, because I do that all the time. I call them little wins and big wins. Well, guess what? They have in common: win. They're all wins, and we need to celebrate them. In the last video that I posted, I talked about the opportunity and the risk that I took with regard to a Women's History Month event that I want to host locally. And I'm celebrating the fact that I made the connection. And I made it without a plan, without an agenda, without 5 bullet points. I said, I think this is a great idea. I'm just going to go ask. And I'll fill in the rest of the stuff later. And I'm going to celebrate the fact, even if it doesn't result in what I want it to look like, I have put it out there and I'm working towards it. And that's why I am going to celebrate it. I alluded to this already, and I'm going to use the comment, size does not matter. We all know about the quote that size doesn't matter, but size does not matter, and quantity, we're going to get it wrong. Excuse me, I got to take another sip. We're going to get it wrong. And what made me think about that statement is 2 years ago now, maybe 3 years ago, I remember going on Instagram and listening to someone talk about how they had a friend that was diminishing their accomplishments. Oh, I see your little book. I see your little post. So I see your little this and little that, and everything was little. And it's funny because it struck me, and I'm like, I say that. And I don't know how I picked it up. I think it was a colloquialism, meaning it was just something that you hear people say a lot, so you just start saying it because it kind of, fits whatever you are thinking. But when we start quantifying our own opportunities to celebrate and our own victories, and we start using the measuring tool or the measuring stick that other people use or the measuring stick that we use on other people, we're going to get it real wrong. And we will start to think, oh, that's nothing. I wake up every day and I'm able to go to a job. Whether I like it or not, I'm able to do it. And we'll stop thinking that that's a big win. Oh, that's a win. That's a huge win. Um, and we will, for example, again, I got a lot of examples. We didn't clap back at our coworker. They said something snarky for the umpteenth time, and you let it go because you realize that they're not worth your energy or your time. You need to celebrate that. Don't celebrate too long because I think that is what we're supposed to do. Honestly, that's maturity, but celebrate the fact that you walked away from that conversation and you held your mule. Celebrate that and not think of it as small or large. The reason that I believe this topic is important is because I am learning myself to celebrate the opportunities and the things that are in my life because I believe that that will help me identify what to celebrate in others. And that gives me my third point. When we begin to celebrate ourselves, I believe it'll be so much easier to celebrate other people because you'll be able to look at someone who is not used to, you don't know this, that may not be getting a lot of thank yous, may not be getting a lot of acknowledgments, and you'll remind them, hey, I really appreciate the way that you opened up the meeting. I like the fact that every time we have a meeting in this room, you're the only one that knows how to work the laptop. Like, thank you. You saved us 5 minutes. When I tell you the last time I actually said that to a person, they lit up and they were like, oh, I didn't even know that that was a thing. I thought that that was my job. Yeah, but everybody doesn't do it. And I want you to know that you save me time by doing it. And you do it well. And you do it without an attitude. And it's great. It makes my day. It actually sets my meeting off well. And I'm changing some of the details, but I told someone that I work with that, and they were like, "Oh, I appreciate that. No one has told me that." And I was just like, thank you. I just appreciate it." I said, "That's a win for the team." So I transitioned it from a thank you to celebrating her as an individual, to celebrating something that she did, and I made it come back to the actual impact. Like, this is a win for the team. It's not just a small thing, it is a great thing. And I'm happy that I did that, but I'm also, it's easy for me to do because I'm also trying to do that for myself. So I encourage you to celebrate every aspect of your life. Celebrate the days that you wake up. Celebrate that you're allowed to see a sunrise. Celebrate that you are in traffic, but you're listening to some great playlist. And while others are driving to work stressed and trying to look at emails and thinking about what they have waiting for them on the day, celebrate the fact that you are driving and jamming. So you arrive at work bopping. You arrive at work with a smile on your face. You're not, cussing out or upset at the person that just cut you off, that you're in a vibe. Celebrate the ending of something. Celebrate that, man, this project is over, but this is what I did and this is what I learned. Learn to look at yourself and see the beauty of who you are. And that brings me to the quote that I looked up because I'm like, I need a quote that kind of resonates with where I'm at right now and what I'm thinking about. So I'm going to share this one with you by Audre Lorde. And it reads, "You are your best work. A series of roadmaps, reports, recipes, doodles, and prayers from the front lines. You are your best work. And because you are your best work, you need to be celebrated." Now, if you don't know who Audre Lorde is, in the spirit of the last day of February, which is the last day of Black History Month, Audre Lorde was a Black African American lesbian poet, an essayist, an activist, and her work shaped civil rights as well as the LGBTQ movement. So this quote is not just to identify what you put out in the world. It's to recognize and appreciate and celebrate the complexity of who you are. And I'm going to read that quote again. "You," pointing at you, "are your best work. You are a series of roadmaps, reports, recipes, and doodles and prayers from the front lines," meaning that there's nothing too significant, there's nothing too small. There's everything about you is important. You are your best work. You are an image bearer of God. You are worth celebrating. What you do is worth celebrating. Who you are is worth celebrating. And when you see that you are worthy of acknowledging the win, we will then pay it forward and acknowledge it in other people. We will help bring smiles to sad faces. We will help smiles get brighter. When you see someone and you see that they have a nice outfit on, girl, you working that. That's a win. I love it when people compliment me. I don't crave it, but when people do, I've learned to stop and acknowledge it. Trust me, there was a time when I would be like, yeah, okay, thank you, I appreciate it. And then someone was just like, wait a minute, Karen. She just complimented you on something and you just dismissed it. Like, no, when someone compliments you, and to me, a compliment is a little bit of a celebration, and they celebrate who you are, they celebrate what you are giving, what you are putting in the space. You need to acknowledge it, thank them, and be more appreciative than how you just sounded. And she checked me, and I appreciate it. And so now when people compliment me, I look them and I say thank you. Oh, I say thank you and I appreciate that. And oftentimes I add one more. I'm like, thank you. And so do you. I was checking out your boots, or you made my day. You made me smile. I just believe that when we acknowledge one another and the spaces that we take up, acknowledging that we are our best work, series of roadmaps, reports, recipes, doodles, and prayers, that we allow ourselves to find joy in those moments, in those cracks and crevices, in the chaos, the tribulations, and just the living of life and life and lifing, that we can begin to celebrate more, and we can begin to celebrate others more, and we pay it forward. And the next thing you know, that every time somebody comes around you, you're going to find a reason to celebrate yourself and remind them to celebrate themselves too. So that's my message for tonight. And I'm checking my watch. I made it. It is 11:55. It is still Black History Month. I need you all to Google Audre Lorde, an amazing woman, a woman that my older sister put me on to way before I got to college, and English class and reading was mandatory. She was a fighter. She was a woman who, with her intellect and her words, allowed people to see themselves in a world that refused to see them. And so, in that same vein, I want you to celebrate yourself, celebrate other people, and allow people to see who you are, and make sure you acknowledge that joy in other people. And you're going to notice a difference in your day, a difference in how you see yourself. You're going to be, I believe, motivated. I'm motivated now to make sure that I see those pearls, those jewels in other people, because I see them in myself first. Okay? Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll talk some more tomorrow. All right? Have a good one. And, and please, if you haven't, like and subscribe to my channel, Karen's Chronicles. I talk about my life journey, topics that hopefully allow you to have a more positive outlook on yourself that you can then use to make someone else's day great and get closer to your purpose. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.